Okay, hopefully that worked. If there's anybody here, say hello. Good morning, Pam. Good morning. You just give me a second. I'm almost ready here. I've been having some crazy issues this morning, and I think I have them temporarily solved. My little bundle of joy decided to play with my computer cables this morning. Good morning, Carol. Hello. Sorry for the butt dial. My little bundle of fluff decided to play with my computer cables this morning, and I had no internet when I wanted to go live. So it was a mad dash to try to get the cables connected, but she actually broke the little clippy that holds it in the hole. So my internet is hanging on a thread, and it's held together with washi tape right now. So fingers crossed, ladies, that this is going to work out. Okay. Hey, it's Shel Anderson from Shel's Creative Corner and Shel Anderson Designs. I blog at shelscreativecorner.blogspot.com, and I can be reached anytime by email at andersonshel@gmail.com. I would like to welcome you here this morning. This is a Stamp with Shel by request. One of my customers has asked me specifically to show the Dutch fold and coloring on foil. So I aim to please. So that is what we are going to do this morning. And I am going to put this here just while I go over a couple of things. So that if anybody wants to grab a screenshot of that so that you have it for your records. We are going to be making two cards this morning. One is a Dutch door card and one is a double Dutch door card. Okay, before we get too much into that, tip number 6. Emboss your acetate for a fun background. Acetate is that clear plastic that the photopolymer stamps comes on. You can also buy it in the acetate sheets in the annual catalog. If you run that through an embossing folder, it is fabulous for a background for your cards. So that is tip number 6 for your tip book. All right. So we are going to get started on our first card. Straight away. So I hope you've got a screenshot of that. If not, email me and I can take a picture and email it to you if you need it. So Carol asked me if I could explain to her the ways to put color on foil. So the first way is super simple. Now I know there's a lot of reflection here, so I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to lay it here. You can use your Stampin' Blend markers directly on foil. Now, these are alcohol based, so they dry fairly quickly. But as you can see from this sample, see how this one is kind of blah looking and how these ones are nice and rich? The darker the marker, the better, and the juicier the marker, the better. Okay, so you can color directly on your foil with your Stampin' Blends. And another way you can add color to foil is you can dry emboss, then sand the raised areas, and then you can either sponge with a dark ink pad or again use your Stampin' Blends. Okay, so here is a sample of what you can do. I used the Magnolia folder on just this scrap of gold foil. I sanded it off, and if you can, I don't know whether you can see this or not, I used too harsh a grit of sandpaper because you can see that there's some scratches in the foil itself. So the finer the grit of sandpaper or sanding block, the better. Okay, and then I just added some Granny Apple Green, some Blackberry Bliss, and some Mango Melody. Okay, so we are going to get started on our first card. And anybody who was here last night knew that this paper pack, the How Sweet It Is paper pack, was one of the paper packs that I had featured for sale. Remember this one? Well, when I was getting ready for this class this morning, this paper was still sitting on my desk, so I said I'm going to use a sheet of that for our first card. All right, so you're very welcome, Carol. Okay, so our first card, this is the bottom base. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I chose bright, happy, fun colors. This is Granny Apple Green. The second piece is this is Pineapple Punch, and it is 4 1/8 by 9, scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so it's going to give you almost a standard base. So those two pieces we are going to layer together. And I have another fuzzy here that I need to take care of. I will be really happy when my new blades get here. Okay, so I am going to, now a typical Dutch door card does not call for this bottom layer. It just calls for this yellow piece. But I wanted to make it a little more stable. I like the stability aspect of it. And a little more bright and colorful. So there we go. And we'll just burnish that edge as flat as we can get it. So now this is the sheet of paper that I chose from that stack. I can't remember what it's called. How Sweet It Is. And because it's a striped paper, I'm going to go this way. All right. See how bright that is? So we are just simply going to layer this up. And sorry if you hear my neighbor's dog barking. It's having a fit out there. Sees something he doesn't like, that's for sure. See how cool that looks? Okay, so if you remember at our second to the last video, I made a card and I put it together backwards. Yep, on live video, you remember that. Well, this is a piece of that mango card base that I destroyed. So I am just going to use this, recycle it into this card. And I'm just going to put a little mat on the inside so that we can have a nice place to write. All right, so there is our Dutch door fold. Now all we have to do is decorate. So I have another piece of that catastrophe card, And I have used the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set. It's found on page 103 of the annual catalog. And I used this stamp. I wanted a block letter happy. Well, it's all one piece. So what I did is I put it on my Stamparatus, and I took a piece of masking tape, and I put the masking tape across here, covered up these words. I inked it up with my black ink, removed the masking tape, and stamped it down onto my card. That is how you use a part of a stamp. Just cover it with masking tape and then remove the masking tape and stamp it down. Okay, so this little piece is, like I said, recycled, and because it's recycled, I need to put this right flat down on the card front, because otherwise the recipient may see this hot mess that's underneath, and we wouldn't want that. And now they're none the wiser. So since all this card is basically retired and recycled, I decided I would go into my little goodie box of tricks. If you remember, I have this little box full of bits and bobs that are left over from other projects. I figured we might as well continue on that trend, and I found this birthday, and I thought that would look fabulous right there. So I am going to grab my tweezers, and we will put that one on the front. And if you're wondering, I just have Tombow in this little tiny bottle. It just makes it easier for me to put little daubs here and there, because I don't want a whole bunch oozing out. Sometimes that still happens, and we're okay because it dries clear, but I prefer not to. All right. Happy birthday. And if you're wondering why I put that off like that instead of centering it, it's because also in that box of tricks, I had this little butterfly. And I thought, you know what? I can use that. So I am going to, actually I'm going to use a glue dot. If I use a glue dot, I will be able to put his wings up a little bit. There we go. And just for good measure, I'm going to use 2. And I will pop that right there, and then give his wings a little lift. And while we're at it, because it's already got some sparkly goodness on that butterfly, I think we should add a little bit more bling, because we can. All right, I'm going to use a big one right there. Actually, I think I'm going to use 3 big ones this time. Wow, they're stuck on there good. And one down there. All right. There we have our retired and recycled Dutch door card. My tweezers, Carol, I'm not sure. They're the reverse action tweezers. Like when you squeeze them, they open, which is great. I'm not sure, but I think I got them at the local craft store. They're made by Tweezer Bee. I have seen pink ones like this at the dollar store, so have a look there first. And where did I get my little bottles? I think I got those from Loretta. You'd have to talk to Loretta about that. I think she got them for me. So I've had them for a while. All right, so there is our Dutch door fold. And I think that's a bright and happy card. So now, Pam says Amazon too. We are going to go on to card number 2. And this is a double Dutch door fold. So this base I cut 4 3/16 across by 9. And I scored it at 5.5. Okay, so that's just a typical Dutch door fold base there. Then this one, to get the double door, you're going to need a piece that is 2 inches this way by 8.5 inches, and I've scored it 2 1/8 inches from each end. Okay, so we are going to take this first off the hop, and we are going to put adhesive on the inside. Yes, the inside of this big panel. And I am out of snail. Bear with me a minute, because I have tons more. Someday I am going to have this all gone, but until that time I am using it. All right, continuing on. And I am just literally covering that panel with adhesive, like so. Now I am going to take this and lay that on that crease, making sure that this folds flat. Like so. So here you have your double Dutch door fold. Super, super easy. Okay, so you're with me so far. Now for this one, I have a Whisper White panel for the inside. So we will have a beautiful place to do our writing. Okay. And for these 2 little panels here, I have 2 little pieces of Regal's DSP in the Blackberry Bliss. And these are each 1 3/4 by 1 7/8. And we are just going to pop these on here to pretty up those little doors at the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to flip this over and give this a good burnish. All right, so now we're going to set that aside. Actually, no, we're not. I am going to pull in this ribbon. Now, you don't have to do this, but I think it looks nicer if you put a little ribbon around the bottom of the card here. And I have chosen the silver ribbon. Sorry, it's white ribbon with the metallic edge. In a silver metallic edge. Okay. So I am just going to use this like a little belly band. And I'm just going to do it off to one side. Like so. And I guess I wasted a whole bunch of ribbon there. Look at that. I have a little knot for my little box of leftovers, so it wasn't too bad. All right, that one's a little long still. Well, I guess I'm going to have to hang on to it. There we go. So there's our little knot. And I will put that over there. Okay, so that just kind of zazzoos that up a little bit. Now we are going to bring in our silver foil. You'll remember this piece of gold foil that I did? I thought, let's try it on silver. Good morning, Denise. I have not tried this yet, so we are doing this live. It may be another catastrophe, but that's okay. So I am bringing in the Big Boss and my base plate number 1, and I have the Magnolia folder. So I am going to position this piece of foil in the folder so that I know I'm off camera, but I have to be able to see this. I'm trying to only get one of the magnolias. You see that? That's what I'm trying to do. And I have to run this through sideways, which I'm not supposed to do, because I have a little corner edge sticking out. And now we have the number 4 specialty plate, which is comparable to the old blue or purple plate in the old machine. It does the same configuration in this new one. All right, so we will get the Big Boss out of the way, and we are going to pop open this folder, and there is our magnolia. All right, so the last time, like I said on that other one, I used a 2-course grit of sandpaper. So I have some different sanding sponges here that are much finer, and I am going to try using these on this one to see how this works. And I'm not sure that these are going to be strong enough, to tell you the truth. Or maybe it's just going to take longer. This is what I used last time. But those ones are just way too fine. So I'm going to try this one again. Where is silicone mat. Yeah, I guess you're bound to get some scratches. On your flower. And the other one we did with Stampin' Blends. So this one, we're going to try it with the ink pad and sponge. So I am going to grab a sponge, maybe. Yep. And I am going to grab, and I wipe that off again to make sure I have all that sand residue off there. And I am going to try it with the Blackberry Bliss ink. And like I said, we're learning this one together. Hello, hubby. I am glad you are here. Checking in to make sure my internet was on, eh? Hi, Louise. Good to see you. So here we go. We're going to try this together and see what happens. I'm just going to go for it. All right, are you ladies ready? Now we're going to take this and rub it off. And I can't say that I like this one as well as I just bent the paper, as I did the other one, and I'll tell you why. This one here, the ink shows in the little grooves where the scratches are, whereas this one, when you're using the Stampin' Blends, you have more control. You can still see the scratches a little bit on the gold one. I'm hoping you're not getting too much reflection. This one is more an aged and distressed look, whereas this one is a more controlled look. We're going to go with this one today. We're going to call this one the distressed look. This one you can only put one color on, whereas the other one you could do two. Now, if you so chose to take a Mossy Meadow marker, I am sure that you could probably add some green to the edges of those leaves, but they're all right now they're already done in the Blackberry Bliss. So we're going to go with this distressed one. This one is just a different look. Like you see the silver, but in the scratches on the paper, you also have hints of the Blackberry Bliss ink that's in the scratches. So we're going to go with it, and let's see what this card's going to look like when we're done. Because this is quite thick, I am going to use my Tombow once again. And I am going to use it generously. And we are going to pull in our card. And pop that down and give it a press. You like them both, Carol? I'm glad. I am very glad. Okay. So see, there's a side-by-side comparison. And there is just coloring on the foil with the Stampin' Blends. Okay, so there it is. Now I added this little piece of ribbon. Remember, I just think it zazazoo's it up a little bit. But I know you can't see this. It will stand. Give you the shot downwards. It will stand with those little legs out if somebody wanted to display it. But I kind of like it with the little, if I can get it back on here, with the little belt, oh heavens, with the little belly band. I think it zazzes it up a little. I'm almost there. There we go. Okay, so there we have our double Dutch door and our single Dutch door. I hope you like them, and I thank you so very much for joining me today. Like I said, if you would like me to take a picture and send you the dimensions for these cards, let me know. Just send me a text and I would be more than happy to do that. I would love, love, love to see what you guys come up with. Yeah, so that's it for me today. I thank you again. I'm out. Bye-bye, ladies.